Welcome to my humble homestead and garden side chat. So today I'm actually going to continue my series on mental health. I just want to thank you guys for such a great response, all of your questions, those of you that contacted me on the different websites that I am on, and the great responses that I did receive on that. And by request, I am going to go ahead and continue that series. So I really appreciate you guys wanting to know more about this topic on mental health. And I'm really happy to continue this. I'm very passionate about it. I am happy that we are discussing and talking about it. It's not always a fun topic to discuss, but just having a conversation is always important. So I'm very happy about that. If you're new to my channel, I do cover many different topics. My overall goal is just to help each other. I have a medical history and a medical background. So that's kind of my passion, is kind of healing naturally, healing through food. I spent many years being ill, in and out of the hospital, a lot of in the hospital. I had a lot of life-threatening and near-death experiences, and I learned the hard way how I had to change my life. And so with that, I'm trying to bring not only my education, because I was going to medical school when I became ill. And so I didn't finish that, but my degree is in psychology, and that's not where I intended to work. So I want to bring what I've learned through knowledge and also through experience, and what I'm also learning now. As far as lifestyle, changing my life, what I'm finding that works. So if you're new here and that interests you, just come along. So let's get started. So last time I really kind of focused on just dabbling into the mental health crisis, and why is it a crisis? What we can do as far as nutrition-wise, what things, what kinds of things can we do in a natural sense to help? And why are we in this mental health epidemic? So today I'm going to focus a little bit more on the stress side of things. The stress, and a little bit on our brain and things like that. So stress is actually a feeling of emotion or physical tension. So it can come from any event or thought that makes you feel frustrated or angry, nervous, and it can, in short term, it can be very advantageous, but activated too often, or even over long term, that fight or flight changes the brain and damages organs in our body. So when we have too much stress, it has a negative impact. But, using stress for like competitions, short-term things, that can help us. But then when we're in it for long-term or like chronic stress, the adrenal gland releases stress hormones through the bloodstream, like cortisol, the epinephrine, the morphine. So, and the continuous stress, it just changes our brain. And we, sometimes it actually shrinks the brain, and we don't really want to experience that. When we're in chronic stress, like we're overworked, overtired, maybe have a very stressful home life where there's a lot of arguing, fighting, things like that, that affects the brain size, the structure, and how it functions. So chronic stress takes a toll on the mental and physical health, which leads to risk of developing strokes, heart disease, and depression. So that really affects not only just our brain, but it also affects our physical well-being as well. So that's why, learning coping measures for stress is really important. So, we all want to, have a better memory, maybe some better concentration. Are there ways that we can do that? Are there ways that we can protect our brain from stress? And are there ways that we can maybe combat what's already happened? So for me, I always used to say that I'm the poster child for women can't do it all, or can't do it all at one time, because not only was I raising 3 small children, I was going to school full time, I was working part time, I was volunteering at my church, and I would ask people, and I was like, I had to have a 4.0. I was such an overachiever, and not just because I, quote, had to have a 4.0 and I thought I was a perfectionist. It wasn't even that. It was that I went to the University of Minnesota, and the competition there to get into medical school, just to get in, was ridiculous. I mean, there were like 3,000 applicants and 160 openings. And most people would apply to medical schools all across the country. Well, I had a family. That wasn't even an option for me. So I would think, well, how did I even do it? And my friends would say, well, you never slept. And that's true, and so I think what happened was I was in such a high level of stress, chronic stress all the time, that I think what happened was my body was just in crisis mode, and I was in serious stress burnout, not only stress, but physical burnout too. And I think that's what happened. So, chronic stress is very devastating to the brain, and it not only is it just devastating, it gets like a marinated in toxic cocktail of stress hormones. So, and the first, it affects 2 areas of the brain, and the first being the frontal lobe, which we use to set goals, make plans, to decide what order we do things in. We use it to focus and to keep our emotions under control. And then the second part is the hippocampus, and those are on either side of our brain. So that's where the hippocampus is. And the hippocampus, this is the core of our memory. So why are these areas so sensitive to stress? And really that's because the stress hormones make the cells in these areas shrink. So when we have those stress hormones increase, and it just makes those areas shrink. But fortunately for us, there are many things that we can do to improve the brain. It's not hopeless. The brain is like this wondrous thing. It can actually regenerate, especially in children, so if we can have, children, it regenerates so much faster, but it's not hopeless in us either. We can regenerate it. So what are things that we can actually do to improve our brain? Let's focus on those. So we know that stress can negatively affect. So let's find some things that we can do to kind of rebuild that brain, to help it. So number 1, and this, I'm going to preach to the choir here. I'm going to talk to myself too. So, and I've been really trying to work on these areas, but I'm talking to me too, because I really have to, some of these areas I need to increase even more. I'm trying hard. A lot of things with the weather changes, it affects me, but I have really been trying. So number 1, the best thing that we can do for our brain is to have some physical activity, to increase, to exercise, to move. And I know with me, that was the first thing I did to heal, was I started physical therapy, and then I started pool therapy. And let me tell you, it took years. It was not an overnight success story. I was not. So we all know that good physical exercise, it's a good idea. We can think about it. Yeah, it's a really good idea. But knowing it and doing it are two completely different things. So I tell you, I can lay in bed and think I should really get up and go for a walk. I do that a lot. So, one thing to really heal and encourage that brain to heal is to really add that physical exercise. So I'm in it too, you guys. I need to really work on that. So it not only does it give us a great body, but it will also give us a great mind. So those are good motivating factors, right? So I need to work on that too. The second one, now I've really come a long way in this one because number 2 is to sleep well. I love my sleep right now. I used to not get a lot of sleep, but now I do get a good night's sleep. I think I'm really productive now that when I sleep hard and I sleep sound. And I think I now know that I do a good hard day's work, So, but sleep loss is really a chronic stressor. It is a chronic stressor, not only physically fatigue, but it is a chronic stressor for your brain. While we sleep, our brains, they reorganize. The brains reorganize ourselves. The good connective tissue is strengthened. It really does. And it cleans itself from all the waste product. So sleep is so important. I mean, it really is. I trained myself to sleep good at first. But now, honestly, it's not even it's easy. It's not even hard. So, and then here's where y'all know I have a lot to say. Good food. So our brains, not just our brains, but our whole bodies need a good building blocks. Our brains need good building blocks and good food. People who eat the right foods have better brain health. They really do. There's so much truth to this. I mean, I know if you look at neuroscientists and doctors and things, a lot of them come from the Middle East. And what do they eat? They eat that Mediterranean diet. They eat a lot of turmeric. They eat a lot of fish. So there's really something to that. I know I did a study of that when I was in school. And that was the biggest thing is for memory and brain health, turmeric does a lot. It's funny because I didn't even put that on my list of things to talk about, but turmeric's good for brain health. Okay, so let's go over some foods that I guess I'm really talking about stress right now. So let's go over some good stress relieving foods. And the number one stress relieving food, I think you all are going to like it, or a lot of you. I know there are a few people that don't like this food, but my old manager really likes this food. So she'll like to hear this one. Number 1 is dark chocolate. So all you chocolate fans, you're going to love it. And you know what? It's packed with fiber and antioxidants. And I'm not talking about, going and getting a Snickers bar or anything like that. I'm talking about good dark chocolate. So it also lowers the risk of heart disease and it gets rid of the free radicals. So eating a couple pieces of dark chocolate actually has the ability to change brain waves. So that's pretty incredible. The good dark chocolate. I know when I've traveled, we've tried some really, really good chocolate and that's been kind of fun. So, this is awesome. This is great news for chocolate lovers. So enjoy that good dark chocolate. Just eat a couple pieces every day. Number 2, artichokes. So artichokes are loaded with fiber and prebiotics that feed the natural bacteria in the gut. These prebiotics are natural stress relievers. Just 5 grams of artichokes a day can lower anxiety, which can help lower the chance of depression. Also, artichokes are very high in vitamin C and K. So they're great stress defenders. So you know what? The next time you go looking for a dip, try an artichoke dip. They're delicious. I love me a good artichoke dip. So yeah. Number 3, salmon. And you know, salmon is so good in omega-3s. So this is a nutrition superstar. It really is, especially in improving brain function and reducing stress. So also fighting aging and fine lines. So you guys, that's another added benefit of salmon. It helps improve sleep, which also helps with brain health. Salmon is high in the omega-3 fatty acids, which combats anxiety, depression, and can also help with weight loss. Well, hello, salmon. I actually, you know, I'm funny with salmon. Salmon, I like it if it's cooked well. You know, if it's cooked and has good flavors. Like I like to marinate it in a lot of lime and things like that. And then I really enjoy it. So matcha powder. Now, I recently did a video where I made some jet-fueled latte, and matcha powder is one of the things I put in it. I'll link that video below. You can see how I did that. So matcha powder is now, it's kind of one of the new hot, kind of hot detox ingredients that it's kind of a hot topic. So matcha powder has taken the detox world by storm. I mean, it kind of is really a big topic for like detox, people who like to do a lot of detoxing things. It's also a good caffeine substitute. So if people, you know, want a little energy boost or whatever, and they're trying to not take caffeine, people use matcha powder. It releases theanine into the system. So that matcha powder has theanine in it, and it's marked as a stress relieving drink. That's what matcha powder is. It does live up to those claims with the presence of non-protein amino acids. They're responsible for the feel-good factor. So those, you know, non-protein amino acids, they kind of give that feel-good factor. At least 5 grams of matcha powder a day will reduce stress. So yeah, so that's one to look at. I bought my matcha powder on Amazon. I can link that below as well. And then like I said, I just include it in my jet-fueled latte, which I've been putting with the spice mix that I make too, the same video. And I've actually been putting it in some tea. It's kind of tastes to me like a chai latte, like a chai tea latte. I've actually enjoyed it that way. So, and then the next one is sweet potatoes. So sweet potatoes is, you know, people who like potatoes, sweet potatoes is the healthier potato. It's a good potato replacement. And sweet potatoes helps regulate blood sugar. So if you do have, you know, like some hypoglycemia or a hard time regulating your blood sugar, sweet potatoes does help that. And it improves heart health. It's high in magnesium, in potassium. It gives you, the magnesium kind of gives you that calming effect. It's a mood stabilizer. And the potassium helps regulate your heart. And all of those, what am I thinking of? All of those minerals are really good with helping with stress. So, and another one is chickpeas, which is funny because when I recently did those 15 meals, which is quite a long video, but it was a big kitchen day. But I did cook with some chickpeas. I did a couple meatless meals and I cooked with chickpeas. So chickpeas if some of you are familiar with the Mediterranean diet, chickpeas is very big in the Mediterranean diet. They do eat quite a bit of chickpeas, and chickpeas are high in fiber and protein. That helps also to regulate blood sugar and the blood sugar levels. And they're very rich in vitamin B6. So vitamin B6 helps to promote brain health and serotonin. So it really helps to regulate that serotonin level, which is a really good mood stabilizer as well. Other stressful fighting minerals that are in chickpeas, they include the selenium, the magnesium, the copper, and then there's quite a bit. There's a lot more that are in the chickpeas, but those are the main ones. So chickpeas, they're an underrated food as well. So they're really good with stress. And another underrated great food is broccoli. Broccoli is a superstar food. It really is, with all of its health benefits. It has so many. It's also included with stress relief, and it has some antidepressant properties as well. So just one cup of broccoli has 2 times the amount of vitamin C as a medium orange. So shoot, that's enough to make me happy right there. I mean, I don't mind oranges, but oranges have a lot of sugar. I mean, natural sugars in them. So, I mean, just a cup of broccoli has double the amount of that. So, yeah, I mean, wow, that's happy news. And avocados. I love me a good avocado. So feelings of anxiety have been linked with vitamin B deficiency. That is very true. And guess what avocado's packed with? You guessed it, vitamin B and other benefits. So avocado also is loaded with the good fats. It has those good fats in it. So it's great for brain health. It also helps stabilize blood sugar, and it's not bad for helping with weight loss either. So that's a good one as well. Now, a breakfast staple across the world, and another humble food as it may be that is also a great mood booster is the egg. The egg. Eggs are a great mood booster, and along with being one of the best sources of vitamin D, which is the sun vitamin, eggs also contain the amino acid tryptophan, which helps us feel better and create serotonin in the body. It not only improves brain function, relieves stress and anxiety, but it does also help us sleep better as well. So eggs are another great brain food. And then we have yogurt. So yogurt, I make my own. I think I have a video I can link below too. Super easy to make your own yogurt, and it's so much cheaper. Right now, the cost of food in the stores is, yeah, no bueno. But anyway, yogurt is so full of probiotics, which keep the digestive tract healthy. And just eating 2 times a day for at least a month has been proven to reduce anxiety. So this also is due to a lot of the anti-inflammatory effects that it has. There's a lot of other dairy products that have been known to reduce anti-inflammation. But I know yogurt, especially with the gut health, there's a lot of fermented foods and you know, a lot of it really starts in the gut health. But with stress, you know, it does affect your brain, which does affect your gut health. And then it's just this vicious cycle. So we want to really work on our overall health, which is why I'm bringing all this to you. So yeah. So anyway, and then the last one I want to talk about is a very underrated one, and not a lot of people like it, but beets. So beets contain a lot of folate, potassium, and magnesium. So those are really good. I know some people try to sneak in a little beet juice every day. I actually like to, I like the golden beets. Those are really good. Those they don't have that real the beet taste, you know, but I kind of learned to like beets. I've been making them in the Instapot, and I don't know. I like them. When I was little, my grandma used to make beets all the time, and I couldn't stand the smell, but I don't know. Now I really don't mind them. So yeah, so with that kind of wraps up a lot of the foods that will help reduce the stress. And you know, I'm really all about doing natural things that help us mind, soul, and body. And if we can just eliminate our stress and just reduce it, you know, and let's try to live healthy where we're at. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, let's just kind of recap here. We're going to do some exercise, physical activity. We're going to sleep well. We're going to work on getting good sleep. We're going to eat well. And we went over those foods that help. And then the last thing is let's have a stress relief plan. So a plan, you know, when we start feeling really kind of stressed out, or we might be in a chronic stress pattern. So what are some things we could do? One, we could listen to some music. You know, put on some good music or some relaxing music. I personally will put on some worship if I need to kind of just relax and calm down. At night, if I really am having a hard time falling asleep, I just put on some instrumental music and just, you know, I set my ALEXA to maybe 30 minutes and it will shut off automatically. So sometimes I do that and just the instrumental just kind of calms me down. Another thing, you know, self-care is so important. People underestimate that. I know you kind of got a hype where people are selfish and things like that, but you know, we have to really, you know, that's one thing I learned when I got sick. If you can't put that oxygen mask on yourself first, then you can't save everybody else around you. So self-care, like for me, a good bubble bath, you know, just especially moms with young children. You know, I remember when my kids, I had 3 boys and they were quite energetic. So just finding time to just take a bubble bath, maybe journal. This is my journal, y'all. Just my talking to you every day. This is my journal. So, you know, going through and finding things that are helpful, studying things. If there's any new studies out there, that helps me. But if you journal, and enjoying nature, you know, if you can enjoy nature, the leaves are starting to turn. Like I can see the leaves are turning. That's exciting. And that is going to encourage me. I actually do like going on walks in the fall. So that's a good time for me to go on walks. So enjoying nature. If you have a pet, a friend, a relative, you know, just enjoy nature. Do it by yourself. I will put on a book from Audible or music and just walk and enjoy nature. And, you know, if you're doing all of those things and you're still just having a hard time emotionally, or you just, you know, are super stressed, or you just need a little bit more, you know, talk to somebody. Just find someone to talk to. There's no shame in that. Sometimes we just need to talk it out. So yeah, so those are the things that I have for today to kind of help our brains, kind of help with our stress levels. And yeah, so just help all those. And remember, you guys, you know what? Your brain is your crown. So treat it like a queen. Or king, if you're a guy. So let's take care of our mental health too. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. If you have any other subjects related to this topic or anything else, even on my channel, and you want me to cover it, please leave a comment below, or you can email me. Let me know, and I'd be happy to share that. All right. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Be blessed. Have a great day. Bye.